Why did the Gen Zer bring a ladder to the Millennials' house? Because they heard the Wi-Fi signal was stronger up there. With that, welcome to the first round of our hilarious battle of wits between Gen Z and Millennials. Let's dive right into the jokes, shall we? You know, we often wonder, how many Gen Zers does it take to change a light bulb? Well, the answer is none. They just use TikTok in the dark. And speaking of confusion, do you know how to baffle a Gen Zer? Just tell them to use a phone book instead of Google. That's sure to get some puzzled looks. Now, let's turn the tables. Why did the Millennial refuse to play hide and seek with Gen Z? Because they couldn't find a good hiding spot without Snapchatting it. And what's a Gen Zer's favorite subject in school? It's not math or science, but Selfies-studies. Now picture this, a Millennial and a Gen Zer both see a payphone. The Millennial asks, "What's that?" The Gen Zer says, "Is it like a retro charging station?" Oh, the ironies of technology. You may wonder, how do Gen Zers communicate in secret? Well, it's simple. In emojis, because Millennials struggle to decode them. And why did the Millennial bring a map to the party? They heard Gen Z doesn't believe in using GPS. Finally, imagine this scenario. A Gen Zer asked a Millennial for directions. The Millennial, in their infinite wisdom, replied, "You go down the information superhighway and take a left at the dial-up sound." Now, isn't that a blast from the past? Oh, the fun we have when these two generations collide. But remember, it's all in good humor. So stay tuned for the next round of our Gen Z versus Millennial jokes. Why did the Millennial start a podcast? They heard it was the only way to get Gen Z's attention for more than 15 seconds. Yes, podcasts, the Millennials' answer to the ever-dwindling attention span of Generation Z. But how does a Millennial react when a Gen Zer says they've never heard of dial-up internet? Well, they offer them a history lesson on the evolution of connection speeds. It's a tale of patience and perseverance that may just baffle the high-speed Gen Zers out there. As for the Gen Zers, they're still trying to decode some of the older technologies. Like the time a Gen Zer brought a dictionary to class because they wanted to look up what fax meant in ancient texts. Yes, the fax machine, a relic of the past, mystifying the younger generation. And what about when a Millennial and a Gen Zer try to plan a road trip? The Millennial suggests using a paper map, and the Gen Zer asks if they can just use the GPS on their hoverboard. A classic clash of old and new, paper maps versus digital navigation. Now, if you've ever wondered how to get a Gen Zer to do their chores, here's a tip. Turn it into a viral TikTok challenge. It's all about the likes and the views, people. But let's not forget about the Millennials' struggle to fit in with the younger crowd. Like the time a Millennial felt old at the Gen Z party because they were the only one who remembered life before smartphones. Ouch, a harsh reminder of the rapid pace of technological change. And then there's the Gen Zer's favorite game, avoiding eye contact while texting, a skill honed over countless hours of screen time. When a Gen Zer asks a Millennial for fashion advice, the Millennial says, "Have you tried thrift shopping for some vintage dial-up vibes?" A clever nod to the nostalgic trends that are making a comeback. Finally, why did the Gen Zer bring a floppy disk to the computer lab? They heard it was the latest trend in retro accessories. Yes, floppy disks, the ultimate throwback, now a trendy accessory for the tech-savvy Gen Z. How does a Millennial send a text? By typing it out on their keyboard, printing it, and faxing it to the recipient. Now, that's dedication. Or is it just vintage vibes? Moving on, here's one for the movie buffs. A Gen Zer says, "I'm going to stream this movie." The Millennial replies, "Back in my day, we rented DVDs and prayed they weren't scratched." Isn't it funny how times change? Let's not forget the classic, why did the Millennial cross the road? To take a selfie on the other side for Instagram. But beware, there's a Gen Zer asking, "What's a favorite classic movie?" Anything made before they were born, because it's vintage. And finally, why did the Millennial apply for a job at the record store? They heard it was the only place where people appreciate vinyl, not just for Instagram aesthetics. And that's a wrap on our Gen Z versus Millennial joke session. Remember to hit that subscribe button and share your favorite jokes in the comments.